You're tuned in to the Foxboro BeatCast, a podcast for Patriots fans by Patriots fans. And here are your hosts, is Kaleb McChesney and Ryan Moore.
Hello, and welcome to the Foxboro BeatCast. I am your host, Kaleb McChesney. This is our inaugural episode of the show, and we're happy that you're here with us for our pilot, so to speak. I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Moore. To make it quick and snappy, we are everything that Foxboro Beat is. The Instagram, the Facebook. We've been here since 2020, riding along with you guys. We've been wanting to deliver this podcast for a lot of years, and we've finally been able to commit the resources, commit the time into doing this. I'm really excited. We have some shout outs to give. Thank you to Austin Gundalch of Gundalch Graphics for making the logo, the intro graphic, the outro graphic. He's been incredible. He did the background that you see behind me and Ryan right now. He's been fantastic, and thank you so much to Austin. And thank you to our good friend Gerardo Sproit for making the audio. He talked you in to us, and he's going to talk you out of us in an hour. Very happy that he was able to do that, and you will see him eventually on this show, maybe even multiple times. But I think we should just introduce ourselves a little bit. I'm Kaleb again. You've probably seen my face a little bit on various live streams that I've done. I haven't done a live stream in quite a while, but we're gonna get back to that this season. I've been here since day one. I'm the founder. We don't need to get in the reasons why Foxboro Beat is here. It's a fun story, but my co-host Ryan here, he's been with us since day one. Ryan, talk about yourself a little bit. I don't think the people have really seen you yet. So
no, I've been a mystery, I guess. An enigma of sorts, I guess. But hi, I'm Ryan. I'm also, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're both Patriots fans. I've been a part of this Foxboro Beat page since 2020. I from time to time post news, share on there. I do some draft grades. Some fans don't like it. They think I'm a little harsh or a little too easy, whatever. Sometimes I get told, who cares about the shit I share? Oh, well. But hey, you know what? We're a team. Got to take some of the dirty work there. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to rip this pod with my boy Kaleb.
Yeah, we've been itching to do this for a long, long time, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
But we've finally been able to commit the resources. We don't have any other responsibilities really to take over. Ryan, if you want to move your camera just a little bit so you're a little more centered. Perfect. Anyways, now that we got the nitty-gritty out of the way, let's talk about some Patriots, shall we? Patriots camp has been in full swing the last couple of weeks, and there's plenty of things to address. First things first, the wide receiver room has been under a lot of scrutiny this offseason. Obviously, we failed to land DeAndre Hopkins. There wasn't a whole lot of hot investment in the position. We signed Juju Smith-Schuster, but at what cost? We gave up. We let Jacoby Myers walk. But we are seeing some receivers starting to pop, like Pop Douglas, Demario Douglas of Liberty University, and LSU's Kayshon Boutte, both 6th-round picks, right?
Yeah.
Boutte struggled in the spring, but he's had a pretty good summer so far, and Pop Douglas has, been awesome just this whole time. And obviously Tyquan Thornton is going to a huge year too, and obviously there's been some noise surrounding the wide receiver core. If any of you have listened to Boston Sports Radio lately, or you watch the media coverage of training camp, you've heard Mike Giardi's famous comments. Ryan, do you want to reiterate what he said?
Called the receiver room stink, stank, and stunk.
Or as Kendrick Boards put it, stank, stunk, and stink, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And obviously Devontae Parker's gotten on the phone on Twitter. He makes a huge catch and Giardi tweets it, and then Parker goes under it and he says stink, stank, stunk. So obviously they've kind of taken this mantra as a chance to make it kind of a rallying cry. Okay, nobody believes in us, then we're just going to show out and prove them wrong, just like every other Patriots team has done over the last since Brady was, a rookie, fighting doubters and, just ignoring the noise, but kind of combating. I don't know. It's really weird up in Foxboro. They pick and choose when they want to hear the noise. But Ryan, let's go to you. Let's talk about this wide receiver room. Was Giardi harsh? How good is this wide receiver room? And how seriously can we take this unit heading into 2023?
I don't. I think he was a little harsh in that the whole stink stank and stuff. Like, come on, like I don't think this receiver room is like full of world beaters, mind you. They're not. And I think anybody outside the guys in the room will tell you that, truthfully. But Juju Smith-Schuster, people like to make fun of him, TikTok boy, whatever. Everyone calls him a glorified number 2 or whatever the hell. I don't care. He's a good football player. You may not like him, I understand, but he's a good football player. He's going to bring a nice physical edge to this Patriots receiving room that they haven't had since Julian Edelman left, really. I love Jacoby Myers, but Jacoby Myers didn't have the edge that
Quiet
Julian
type,
Edelman has. And I think Juju will bring some of that bite back to the offense that they need. If you're going to play Foxboro football, you need bite. I think, Kendrick Bourne is a really underrated football player. I have no idea what's going to happen with his future. Last year he got benched a lot of the times. He just got frozen out of the offense because of a certain offensive coordinator we won't name. Devontae Parker, I think he's a really good football player. Maybe not, what Miami thought he would have been when they drafted him like 11th overall in 2015, but he's a great jump ball threat. I think he'll get 7, 8, 9 touchdowns. Maybe he creeps into the double digits. And I think, the rookies have a real chance to shine, man. We talk about Pop Douglas. He has his name is obviously DeMario, but Pop could have a chance to pop. And I know that's corny, but he's been rinsing cornerbacks all camp long, man. Like I was watching clips, he rinsed Christian Gonzalez. That was the first round pick.
Best corner in the draft, a lot of people would say.
Yeah. He rinsed I know he's a running punchline amongst Patriots fans, but the route he put on Miles Bryant was so unfair. That was one of the nastiest routes I've ever seen. And you're seeing every single day, hey, Demario Douglas is doing this, Demario Douglas is doing that, and you're like, oh my. Like 6, maybe the Patriots just need to just throw away drafting receivers early. Let's just draft 6th, 7th round guys. They have all the success there. And another receiver that I'm really looking forward to is Keyshawn Butte from LSU, who is supposed to go top 10 like in the draft.
If not for bad attitude and a bad year, yeah.
Yeah, he had a terrible year at LSU his last year. Injuries, alleged character problems. I don't know how valid they are or not, but you don't fall to the 6th round with that much talent without, valid reasons. So he's coming. He's put his, nose to the grindstone. He's been working his ass off, and I've heard a lot of positive things. I heard he made an incredible catch that no one has footage of. I don't know if you saw that, but
no, I did not.
Twitter was buzzing that Keyshawn Butte made like an Odell Beckham type one-handed catch at practice, and nobody has the footage of it. I'm like,
it's like Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Nobody saw it.
Yeah, he's the Wilt Chamberlain of Patriots football now. But yeah, I think he has steal the draft potential. Him and Demario Douglas, those 2 guys could be 2 6th round steals. And I don't, because not every 6th rounder is a light, like Tom Brady, obviously, but these guys are not going to be Tom Brady, but they could be steals, and that would be huge for this offense. And I think Tyquan Thornton, I haven't heard a lot of positive about him, really. I don't know. Have you?
With Tyquan Thornton, I haven't heard a lot. But to touch on other points about your about this wide receiver talk, I don't think the core's trash. I think Stink Stunk was a tad harsh. Not saying that there's no number 2s and no number 3s. I think Juju Smith is a fine number 2. I think Devontae Parker is a fine number 2. Obviously, there's no number 1, and we can come to terms with that. But we do have 2 good tight ends in Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki. But it's a bottom 3rd receiver core. Let's just call it how it is. But
unfortunately, yeah.
Juju Smith-Schuster and Jacoby Myers had really comparable stats last year. Juju had 78 catches for 933 yards and 3 scores in 16 games. Myers, about 70 catches, 804 yards and 6 touchdowns in 13 games. And they basically got the same deal. We're paying them $11 million a year for the next 3 years. Devontae Parker, 31 catches, 539 yards, and 3 scores in 11 games. He had a little bit of injury problems near the end of the year. And he got extended 2 years, about $10 million with bonuses that could turn into 14. And obviously, we talked about Kendrick Bourne. In 2021, he was dynamite. 55 catches, 800 yards, and 5 scores. He was probably the number one receiver on that offense, even with Jacoby Myers in the building. And then obviously last year got in trouble in Vegas. Not for anything really, just disagreeing with Matt Patricia. And that 55, 805 stat line turned into 35, 341, and 1. I don't even remember what game he caught the touchdown in. Probably the Cincinnati game, right?
I think it was the Bengals game, yeah.
Yeah. But like we said, Pop Douglas had an amazing camp. Kayshon Boutte struggled in the spring, but apparently he's turning it up in the summer. And then Thornton, he's kind of an odd subject, truthfully, because we didn't really saw too much of him last year. He broke his collarbone, came back in like the Cleveland game, and caught a touchdown or jet sweeped it or whatever. And it was like, oh well, look at that speed. And then anytime you throw deep to him, I mean, it goes through his hands. He's fast, but he's got no muscle to beat off corners. He's got no muscle to. He just can't beat press, and if he does get behind the defense, the ball's going through his hands. That's the story of last year. But this wide receiver core, I don't think it's trash by any means. It's just it's got upside, I think. And stank and stunk is just it's not accurate, truthfully. I think that there's enough pieces in there to do something with. The wide receiver core is by far not the most concerning thing on this offense, but yeah. So we'll see what happens with this wide receiver core, especially tonight against the Houston Texans in that first preseason game. But any other thoughts on the wide receiver core before we dive in?
Yeah, I think honestly we talk about the Foxboro flu and stuff. I think that's where Tyquan Thornton's headed. And for those that don't know what the Foxboro flu is, essentially you get put on injured reserve before the season starts. Your season's over, and it's basically the Patriots' way of redshirting you without, letting you hit waivers.
It just sucks that we're doing this with a second-round pick. You know, and we let him play his rookie year. Like, if we had redshirted him his rookie year, that's one thing. But last year he played most games, and he didn't really do anything. I don't have the stat line in front of me, but it wasn't particularly fantastic.
Yeah, he was a bit disappointing. Granted, the offense was dysfunctional, but he also didn't really do much else. So, like, with his opportunities, really.
Good. Yeah. But yeah, touchy microphone. But yeah, I think this wide receiver, it's got room to grow. I think Juju's a fine. It's just, I think a lot of people are just underwhelmed because you missed out on DeAndre Hopkins and you didn't land the big free agent studs. Not that I think there were any, but
yeah. Missing out Hopkins sucks, but hey, he wanted money, whatever.
It does suck that we lowballed the crap out of him in typical Belichick fashion.
You're taking the incentive off for DeAndre.
Yeah, you don't know how to block. We don't want you.
Heard you're not really great in practice. Sorry.
We want really committed football players here. So take my Patriot guarantees of roster bonuses and get the hell out. But moving on, let's talk about the guy who's throwing to these wide receivers in camp, in preseason, and regular season, and hopefully in the playoffs. Obviously, there's no ignoring that there's a quarterback conversation. I don't know about a controversy or a competition, but it certainly is a conversation. Kind of set the scene for you. Mac Jones had a rough 2022. The whole offense did, to tell you the truth. And there's a lot of blame to go around. Obviously, the bulk of it goes to a former offensive coordinator that we shall not mention. But Mac Jones had a rough 2022. That's pretty much all there is to say about it. But how's that legitimately open the door for a quarterback competition between Jones and Bailey Zappe? Zappe played well in his roughly 4 starts versus Detroit, Cleveland, Green Bay, and the Bears. That mess. But how do we feel about the position going into 2023? And I'll lay out the stats for you quickly just so you have this kind of context to go off of. Mac Jones, in 14 games or whatever it was that he played last year, he completed 65% of his passes for just under 3,000 yards with a touchdown interception ratio of 14 and 11. Zappe in his 4 games completed 70% of his passes for 781 yards, 5 scores, 3 picks. Yeah, Ryan, let's just open this up. Is this a real quarterback competition? Is this job as open as people are saying it is? Go for it. I mean, who do you think that Mac is the guy going into 2023?
No, it's not a QB competition. If Zappe really wanted to make it a QB competition, he wouldn't have shit the bed in that Bears game. He wouldn't have. And I'm sorry, but that Bears team finished dead last. And you couldn't, and I know Mac wasn't really all that impressive either. That was his first game off an ankle sprain, I'm pretty sure. So, Bailey, buddy, you had your chance, you blew it. I'm sorry. And I personally, I don't know how to feel about Mac coming into 2023. Last year was an unmitigated disaster for the entire offense. 2021, his rookie year, he was pretty solid, albeit that playoff game in Buffalo was
nobody was good.
That was a nightmare. And it gave me a little bit of concern. I think this is a make or break year for Mac Jones. I truly do. They're going to give him the keys to the car. I don't think they're going to relinquish it unless he's like, all time bad. Like if he's dirtballing it like Cam Newton was, like, yeah, you're gonna get the plug. But I think he could be really good this year. I think with Bill O'Brien coming into the fold, and I think the receivers are going to be better. They're going to be a healthier unit. Mike Gesicki's coming in. I think Mike Gesicki will be a better football player than what Jonnu Smith was. There's going to be options for him. And while we're going to talk about it later, but I don't think the old line's not really all that impressive right now. You got a lot more help at your disposal now. It's sink or swim, or I guess in the explicit terms, shit or get off the pot. You gotta make it convincing, because otherwise, if you're mediocre again, your 5th-year option comes into play next year. And you don't want to have to get in that scenario where you look at the Giants with Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones had a decent year after his 5th-year option got declined, and then the Giants ended up having to pay him $40 million.
And that's probably what Mac Jones is going to be looking at if he plays well his 4th year and the Patriots don't want to move him.
Yeah.
But as you said, that Chicago game was a disaster. For a lot of different reasons. Mac Jones probably shouldn't have even played. If he can't play a full game, why even play him for a half? Like, do you think the Bears are like, a D3 collegiate team? Like, they're just gonna fall for that crap? And Zappe comes in. There's a little bit of spark because the fans just go nuts over anything. And after that, it's a train wreck. Neither quarterback looked well. And obviously the rest of the way, Mac Jones had the job and the offense couldn't score more than 30 points. I don't think they even touched more than 25 all season. But now we have a new offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien. I just want to get rid of the myth already. No, Mac Jones did not play under Bill O'Brien at Alabama. That didn't happen. Mac Jones talked to Bill O'Brien on his way out before coming here. And now I don't think it's a totally different offense. I think the main staples between McDaniels and O'Brien remain the same, truthfully. But yeah, I think another thing to note is that Mac has won every QB battle he's ever been in. If this is truly a QB battle, he beat out Bryce Young his senior year, and he beat out Cam Newton his rookie year. I think those are things not to ignore. Like, Mac Jones isn't just, this kind of slump who's, oh, well, here you go, Bailey. Zappe's a fine backup. I don't want to just sit here and shred him. He obviously played well enough to get 2 wins against NFL defenses last year. Given they were two of the worst NFL defenses in the league at that point. I think Detroit was 32 and Cleveland was 31.
Yeah, they weren't good.
But he proved capable to win a few games, and all power to him. He stepped in when we needed him. Hoyer went down. Zappe comes in, plays well against Green Bay, almost good enough to win that game. Plays well enough in Detroit to beat the Lions. He plays well enough in Cleveland. He's a fine backup, but I just don't see how we can just pull the plug on Mac after he got screwed his second year. Just there was no helping him.
No, and I think Zappe is he's gonna be like a Case Keenum type. Like he's fine. You plug and play him. Like if you kind of need a guy to come in, he won't sink your team. But this whole talk of him being a starter, come on. Patriots fans are pretending, oh my God, this is like when Tom Brady came in for Drew Bledsoe. Let's go. We're winning a Super Bowl. And no. No, not at all. No.
So I'll pitch this question. I'll pitch this question to you. How bad does it have to be for Mac Jones to get benched in 2023? Like, at what point would you consider that to be a good decision?
I would say if you have more interceptions than touchdowns, and you're it's not like fluky interceptions either, right? Like you're actively hurting the team, and you're not accurate. You're just trash. Your confidence is just shot. I think at that point, yeah, you could look to actually play Bailey Zappe and give him that shot. But I don't know if that will happen, because I think let me just get this clear. If Matt Patricia was our OC this year, I don't see a future of Mac Jones in the Patriots. Just because, I think his confidence will got completely destroyed by the second year of that clown show. But I think under O'Brien, I don't think it'll happen. It would take a nuclear disaster.
So you're thinking like the team comes out the gates like 0-5?
Yeah. If you're a tank for
bad,
Caleb conversations, you know what I mean? Like tank for Caleb Williams, by the way. If you're in those kind of conversations after like week 6, week 7, yeah, time to pull the plug. You're not getting the job done.
So yeah, I think okay. So let's close this quarterback conversation with this little bit of optimism. I think. What is your expectations for Mac in 2023, and how much better is the offense with Bill O'Brien now?
I think Mac will be a top. I think he'll be a league average, 14 to 16 range QB. I think he'll put up 25 touchdowns. I'm going to say 10 interceptions, 4,000 yards, and I think he'll take the Patriots to they'll be like a 10 and I'm not going to say 10. I'm going to say 9 and 8, 8 and 9, They're
between
they're
8, 9 and 10, 7, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty average right now, unfortunately, but I think that's the ceiling with this team. That's my personal expectations for Mac. What are yours?
I pretty much agree. I think it's going to take a little bit of fixing to undo all the breaking that happened in 2022. So I'm expecting Mac to just come back to his rookie year. Put that together. 3,700 yards, 25-ish touchdowns, less than 15 interceptions. I think that's a great year. And I think the Patriots, right between 8, 9, and 10, 7, this offense doesn't have a whole ton of talent. But if Mac Jones can just prove that he can be a pretty good quarterback, get back in that top 13 to 16 conversation, get back on the NFL top 100, as much as that's a joke, we all know. But there's something to that, getting to that NFL top 100 list.
If you can just make the Pro Bowl. I mean, we know the Pro Bowl is a joke as well, but
actually be voted into the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just be a reserve, get into the Pro Bowl, which is hard because you only get like 3.
I don't know if he's there yet. That would take a few years, I think.
I really just want him to just get back on the radar. Stop being the joke of the butt end of the jokes that happen to Patriots fans. Oh, you think you can win anything with Mac? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You know those people.
Oh yeah.
To pick, specifically Bills fans who,
Oh fuck, they're so annoying, man.
They were out here, rookie Josh Allen. I mean, we were all wrong about Josh Allen. but they don't. It's like they've never seen a quarterback like have to develop and get. And listen, Mac Jones is not the physical specimen that Josh Allen is. Mac Jones' ceiling is probably Matt Ryan. You can win with Matt Ryan. The Falcons almost did, and they probably would have actually if they had a team around it for more than a year.
If they didn't have the worst clock management skills of all time. Thank you guys.
If Kyle Shanahan wasn't a joke. But no, I think just coming back to his rookie form and looking like a decent NFL starter, looking like that middle of the pack that can kind of, get the job done. And what would be great, I want to see a comeback win. Just a signature comeback win. He only has one of those, and that was the Houston Texans his rookie year. The Houston team was bad.
Yeah,
they were coached by who was their coach 2021?
I think it was it Cully that year? Or was Cully 2020?
I rest my case. David Cully. You had a comeback win on David Cully that was helped by a roughing the passer call. Like Mac doesn't have that signature win yet, and it's not really his fault because the offense blows. And in 2021 they were helped out by a lot of injuries during that 7-game winning streak where they played absolutely like nobody of worth noting. Yeah. So can I get one signature win, and can I get like maybe a winning record in the division, pull off a win against Buffalo or the Jets or the Dolphins that you weren't supposed to? And I get we've had the Jets number, but Aaron Rodgers is in town now, and I don't think those are 2 free wins anymore. So yeah, just show me something that I haven't seen before, and at the very least, just get back to your rookie year.
I want to see one Brady style win. Whether that be via sheer dominance or,
dominate a good team. Don't just beat up on the crap.
Yeah.
Like they did against Jacksonville this rookie year.
Like you said, a nice signature comeback win type thing. I don't want to, I don't care about, oh, wow, you scraped by to beat the fucking Jaguars or something. I don't care. Show me something. And I'm with you in that 1,000,000%.
Like Mac Jones' signature game for me is when he went toe for toe with Tom Brady and played. I think he outplayed Brady that game, to tell you the truth. Not that Brady was bad, but I think Mac outplayed him. Like I think he was he had the better night.
I think. Well, honestly, I think we forget though Brady that throw to Antonio Brown was fucking sick from Brady.
It was. But you know what I mean? Mac was just efficient. He got the job done, and he had the team in position to win the game. If it wasn't for some drop passes and a sack, like they win that game against Tampa.
Also, both teams tried to fumble that game so badly. Looking back at it,
but that was Mac's best game. That was where it was like, okay,
he was amazing in the game.
We have a quarterback here.
Yeah,
like just give me that feeling again. I don't know how you do it. Maybe you go tit for tat with Aaron Rodgers. That would be fantastic. Going tit for tat with Josh Allen, like, oh, baby, here we go.
That's the one I want to see. I want to see it versus Josh Allen. I'm tired of Bills fans, man. I can't stand these guys. I need to see Mac Jones walk into Buffalo and we remember the win game, but I don't care about the win game. That was a fluke.
We need Mac to be the guy.
I want him to go in there and rip the throats out of the Buffalo Bills. Mortal Kombat style. Go in there and kill them, man.
Imagine how insufferable we're going to be to Buffalo fans if Mac Jones just out-duels Josh Allen.
There will be some trolling.
Absolutely.
Right,
I will be posting this podcast in every Bills group. But do we have any more thoughts on this quarterback conversation besides let's go Mac?
I think we said everything we need to say.
Perfect. So let's get into a bit of a meat and potatoes discussion here. The Patriots are going to need some big time performances for guys in all 3 phases of the team this year: offense, defense, and Belichick's favorite, special teams. So I think a fun exercise for us would be to take one player from each phase that we think will be the X factor for their unit, whether it be a coach, whether it be a player, And who is going to make that difference that makes the team that much better from 2022? Hopefully getting them back into the playoffs. Let's start with the offense. I'll go first. We had a pretty significant coaching change on the offense. We had Bill O'Brien, and we have my pick, Adrian Klemm. He's carrying a lot of pressure. He really is. He was hired away from a comfortable job in Oregon where he was the O-line coach and I believe the assistant head coach, right?
Yeah.
We pulled him away from a really comfortable job in Oregon. Now the offensive line, as it stands today, is in a bit of dire straits. Trent Brown on the left side, who just had his first practice on Wednesday, I think. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? We have Cole Strange, who had an injury. I hope he's okay, but I haven't.
I think he's fine. It was minor.
And David Andrews, who is getting up there in age, he could retire at any moment, especially with his health. Mike Onwenu, who's in a contract year, and we have a bit of a problem at right tackle. Right now, the starter on ESPN says Riley Reif, but there's also Connor McDermott.
Yeah, it's not pretty, honestly.
It's thin at the tackle position, to say the least. And if the offensive line cannot perform, it's really tough to see this offense be that much better than 2022. Bill O'Brien can only do so much. Last year, according to PFF, this unit was ranked 11th, and coming into 2023, they're ranked 13th. So the nerds seem to think that this is a top half of the league unit. And maybe that's just Big Mike carrying the weight and David Andrews.
I think it's Onwenu and Andrews.
And they might be a tad overrated, but there's some high expectations and there's a lot of pressure on all these guys. And it starts with Adrian Klemm. Obviously, a good O-line coach makes a ton of difference. We saw that in the mid-2010s when Dante Scarnecchia retired for like 2 seconds. And then Belichick just dragged him out of retirement. Like, dude, you got to help me here. Brady's getting his ass kicked in Denver every time we go there. Did you just see this AFC Championship game? Marcus Cannon just let Von Miller kill Tom like 20 times.
Brian Stork tipped snaps the entire game. Like, no wonder why Von Miller... Poor Marcus Cannon, honestly, looking back at it. Von Miller knew when the ball was going to be snapped every freaking time. He let the best pass rushers ever just casually just be able to time the snap every fucking time. Wow, I wonder why Brady got hit 20 times.
And you know what's crazy? We still almost won that game.
Yeah.
It was like a pull it out of your ass comeback. But Ryan, I don't want to take the shine away from you. Give me your offensive X factor.
Mine, we're sticking with the O-line. And mine is Trent Brown, who I think is an elite. Oh, actually, no, not elite. His highs are very elite, I would say. But when he wants
to be there, he is a great offensive tackle.
Yeah, he is you're not moving past that guy. He is a unit. 6'8", 380. Not you're over. It's over. The problem with the guy though is he hasn't stayed on the field. He's had motivation issues. He's had weight issues. What Trent Brown are we getting? Because I'm sorry, but I'm getting frustrated with the guy. And I love the player when he's on his game. He's amazing.
Oh, he is just locked down on that blind side when he wants to be there.
Yeah, but if it's another year of his bullshit where he's hurt or he's lazy out there.
You know what game sticks out to me the most about Trent Brown from last year?
Is it the Buffalo one?
The Buffalo game at home in the red jerseys, and every time he's going to block, he's chop blocking. Like he's diving on the ground, and then Mac Jones gets floored. Yeah. Every time. You know what I'm talking about. You saw his big ass
it's a clown show.
Fall on the ground. Yeah.
But you can't have that. And that's your left tackle. And that will be a big factor in, Mac Jones's development. Because if he's getting, crushed back there, he's gonna develop just that stage fright.
Some really bad habits. Yeah.
Yeah, where he's either gonna, hold on to the ball too long, he's gonna try to get rid of it too quickly. I'm gonna quote Sam Darnold here. He's gonna see ghosts, and it's gonna fuck the guy up if Trent Brown's not clamping down the side. I was also gonna say Riley Reif too, but I mean, you and I both know Riley Reif's not really gonna. He's not gonna be a needle. It would be a stunner at like 34 or 35 years old if Riley Reif is like a needle mover
or career practice squad or Connor McDermott.
Yeah. former like
But
Patriots like 6th-round pick that's like bounced around the freaking AFC East. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
let's segue right to your defensive pick. Who do you think is the X factor on this defense?
Christian Gonzalez. It has to be Gonzo because the cornerbacks, while they've been good, anytime they played an alpha dog receiver, they've gotten rinsed. Well, you got yourself an alpha dog cornerback. I'm tired of seeing Stephon Diggs just walk past the secondary. I got a free touchdown. I don't want to see Tyreek Hill burning the defense or Jalen
Given the peace
Waddle.
sign, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see Garrett Wilson, who is, I think he's gonna have a monstrous season in New York. You face those guys 2 times a year. Those are all alpha dog receivers. And I think Christian Gonzalez is an alpha dog cornerback with the type of athleticism and coverage skills to lock them down. And that's why they drafted him despite having a deep cornerback room, because they didn't have an alpha. Jack Jones, I really like Jack Jones, but he's not, he's had a bad off season. I don't know if we'll talk about it. But 2, he was inconsistent at times, and I don't know if he can be that kind of guy.
And he got suspended at the end of the year.
Yeah, he tailed off. He started at red hot and he tailed off. John Jones, I really like Jonathan Jones, but he's a slot corner. Marcus Jones, awesome utility player. I like him at cornerback, but he's 5'8".
A lot of short guys in that room.
Yeah, Gonzalez comes in, he's 6'1", or I think he's 6'1". Best athlete, and I don't know. Have you seen any of the clips of him at OTAs or training camp?
He looks good. He's smooth.
Dude, his back pedal is insane. Like, that type of footwork will make you a lot of money in the league. And I think if he can, in his rookie year, I compared him to Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos. Patrick Surtain II, I should say, because Patrick Surtain's dad was also
really good. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a similar type player, freak athlete, freak in coverage, big bodied corner, and he's clamped in man coverage. That's the type of guy you need. He has a confidence too. And I think he'll be the guy. So that's my X factor personally. You?
Mine on defense, it's the safety core, specifically at the free safety spot. Obviously, we lost Devin McCourty, who was just a main staple of that defense for years. You know that there was somebody more than capable back there of getting the job done, keeping it, level. You had a chance on defense with Devin McCourty. That's a huge hole left, and we're filling it with guys like Kyle Duggar, who is more of a strong safety in a contract year. We have Jabril Peppers, who is listed as the starting free safety, but he's also a bigger guy that likes to play that box safety role. Jalen Mills, who's usually a corner and got cut this offseason just to be brought back on cheaper money. So who knows if he's really here long term. And then Josh Bledsoe, who was a 6th-round pick in 2021, who has a career 3 games totaled.
Yeah.
It's a very wide open room. And I don't know what the direction is there. And I think if we don't have that solid coverage over the top, like you said, with the Gonzo, you have to face Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, and elite quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Tua, if he stays healthy, probably would have been an MVP candidate last year. You have to deal with some crazy passing offenses, and if you don't have that safety, good luck to you. So we need somebody to fill that role adequately, and we don't need another Jordan Richards out there.
No. If it's up to Bill Belichick, he'd have 11 Ed Reeds out there, but he can't.
Well, nobody's that lucky, right?
Yeah, I don't think he can get Ed Reed.
So that free safety spot is a huge need.
Yeah, I personally am looking forward. We'll talk about him in the preseason preview, but I'm looking forward to seeing Josh Bledsoe, because I remember when I was watching Mac Jones tape after they drafted him. It was Alabama, Mizzou. Josh Bledsoe's on Mizzou. He went up in man coverage against Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner that year, and clamped him in man-to-man coverage on an incredible rep. Like I was amazed by it. I was like, if you can consistently put on reps like that, I see why the Patriots are really high on you. But alas, he was drafted 2 years ago,
and he's played 3 games.
Yeah. So what are you? Because that one rep was brilliant, but you can't live off one rep your entire, career. You gotta. It's the same conversation with Mac Jones. Shitter get off the pod. So I'm really intrigued by him. I'm also really intrigued by Jalen Mills too. Honestly, he's one of those guys that really should have been a safety all along, but they wanted him at cornerback because
we also had a deep safety room back then.
Yeah, it kind of had no choice, but he's so much better as a safety from everything I've ever heard about him. I wouldn't shock me if he kind of has like a later career renaissance and just becomes a really good safety, kind of like a diet like Charles Woodson. Obviously, he's not gonna be a Hall of Famer like Charles Woodson, but always remember Woodson
able
went from
to extend his career
safety.
a couple of years, right?
Yeah, and then was a really good safety for a long. I mean, Woodson's an elite safety, but it wouldn't shock me if Mills becomes a really good safety. And that would be awesome. That would be a huge boost for the secondary. That, and like you said, there's a big question mark with Devin McCourty, who is a lead communicator as well. People forget that. You lost, McCourty and Hightower over the past couple of years. Those are your top 2 communicators. Now it's going to be Juwan Bentley and Juwan Bentley and who? Jalen Mills?
I think it's Kyle Duggar.
It could be Duggar, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a very important spot. It really is. On special teams, a little bit of an obvious pick. I don't really love this. I like to be a little more creative, but Marcus Jones was electric in punt returns last year. We all remember the game winner against the Jets in that god awful slogfest. But he was great. He averaged 23.8 yards per run back, and he was significantly more important in punt returns than kickoffs. So I think field position again is just going to be a huge thing for the Patriots because their offense, as much improved as it might be under Bill O'Brien, you still don't have great talent. So you need to make the job, as easy as possible on this offense. Keep it low stress, just like 2021. You have great defense, you have great special teams, you're gonna do fine. And obviously we moved Joe Judge back to special teams ish. I know he's called the assistant head coach or whatever, but he's been primarily working with just the special teams. So that unit should be better. It's not just gonna be what's his face over there that everybody wants like dead.
Accord or whatever.
Yeah, Nick Accord or Cam Accord. Yeah. So it's not just going to be his show anymore, and which is great. And Joe Judge, when he was on special teams, you never really heard of Pete. The special team is always good. So I think Marcus Jones creating that field position for the Patriots is just going to be huge. But I'm interested to hear yours.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go full Belichick with this one. Mine is Bryce Behringer, the punter, and there was a quote that stood out to me from Demario Douglas. Because he's also going to be competing for a punt return role. As is customary, if you're in New England, you got to play a little special teams. Got to find your role there. But he said, and I'm paraphrasing here a little bit because I don't have the quote in front of me. But he was like, "Man, that guy's leg is something else." And so I think you look back, Jake Bailey's tenure in New England ended really on a terrible note.
He had a great first year and then just collapsed after that.
It was awful. And then you had Michael Pilardi, who I'm convinced, he might have the worst leg I've ever seen in my life from a punter. That really, having a bad punter really screws over your defense. It really does. Because you give them constant short fields. It keeps on amplifying the stress. And it stresses the offense out because, hey, you got to keep on
score more points. Yeah.
Whereas Bryce Behringer, he's going to keep on pinning opposing teams back at at their 20. It's not going to be fun to have to play against Bryce Behringer.
As long as he can control that power,
Yeah.
he will be
Well,
good for a long time.
I think, Joe Judge going back to special teams, he did a good job at, honing in Ryan Allen and Jake Bailey.
Was he there for Zoltan Mesko?
Um, Mesko was 2012. I think Ryan Allen was. Oh yeah, Joe Judge was 2012. I think Ryan Allen came in either 2013 or 2012. So I think he was there for one of the years or whatever, if I remember correctly. But yeah,
We love you'll notice on this podcast we love to throw out old random names. And Zoltan Mesko is the first of any.
yeah. Just wait
But
till I talk about Devin Lucien in the preseason previews.
God. So yeah, I think we had some solid X factors there. Obviously there's going to be a lot of players that are going to need to make a huge comeback. Or comeback or impact or whatever you want to call it on this team.
Yeah.
But we do have a very important thing going on tonight. We have the very first preseason game in Gillette Stadium, the only one in Gillette Stadium this year, against the Houston Texans. Yeah. So to close the show, the first show, we're going to talk about this game. CJ Stroud, Ohio State quarterback, will be making his debut in an NFL game, even if it's a preseason. But a lot of Patriots starters are expected to sit on the bench. So let's talk about who we're looking out for, what we expect to see, what we're hoping to see. And I'll just lay out the foundation with this. And this is going to become a main staple of the show anytime I preview a game. Some familiar faces on the opponent side. You ready? We have Nick Caserio, general manager of the Houston Texans. We have Shaq Mason, Super Bowl winning guard in Tampa. Did he win one in Tampa?
He did not win in Super Bowl in Tampa.
Okay, so he won a couple here. Chase Winovich. And I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. Derek Rivers.
Derek Rivers is still in the NFL.
Yeah, he's part of that 2017 draft class. He's a depth edge rusher for the Texans. So those are your familiar faces on Houston. Ryan,
credit to Derek Rivers.
Let's go to you. What are you looking out for?
Can I just say first credit to Derek Rivers, man? That guy's like torn his ACL like how many times or whatever?
6, yeah.
He's still kicking in the league. That's awesome for him. But I'm looking out for Demario. Oh, I mean, this is so obvious. Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte, because I don't know if this is how deep cut we're gonna get. And Caleb said, prepare for the warning. I remember Austin Carr versus Devin Lucien.
Oh yeah,
2017.
I was there at both preseason games. The Jacksonville one and the Giants one at the end. I saw both of those. Yeah, both of those games.
And I remember that was an active discussion. I think this could be an way better version of that, where you see, instead of neither guy making the roster, you see both guys make the roster, and hey, they're both actually pretty damn good. But tomorrow's the first time you're in pads versus a real opponent, so we'll see. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it. I love receivers, one of my favorite positions in sports. So just to get to watch just two highly talented guys battle it out, two highly talented rookies. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to drop more deep preseason references.
Well, I have one for you. One guy I'm looking at is quarterback, wide receiver, running back, Malik Cunningham, who's been absolutely he's been one of the fun stories at camp. Anytime you hear about him, he's finally taking reps as a quarterback, and he's an athlete. They're trying him at all sorts of different things. One thing to note about Malik Cunningham, he shattered all of Lamar Jackson's records at Louisville. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh no, I knew that. He played at Louisville for like 8 years.
Hey! He has the record. But yeah, what are the vibes gonna be when Malik Cunningham in the first game of Patriots preseason just pulls a full-on Danny Etling and rushes for 86 yards, and about 4 players on the Texans get cut because of it. And everybody knows which Danny Etling run I'm talking about.
The run heard around the world.
Yeah. So I'm looking at him, and I hope to see Pop Douglas, like you said, and what kind of role that he can play. And just like seeing those guys kind of, create, a role for themselves on this offense that can hopefully carry over into the regular season. I know it's just the first preseason game. There's going to be a lot of kinks to iron out, and a lot of time for players to play good, a lot of time for players to play bad. So, but I'm looking at those two specifically on the offense. Defensively, I mentioned Joshua Bledsoe. We need to see some inroads, and a lot of this player, we haven't heard anything from him since he got drafted. Edge rusher Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. I think we both had really high hopes for him when he came out. He was a super athletic edge rusher, just an absolute mauler, but he hasn't been on the field at all. This first season he was redshirted. I think he didn't he have a major injury, and he
I think so, yeah.
like when he got drafted, and we kind of like assumed that he wasn't going to play. And then 2022 he comes out of training camp, gets the Foxboro flu. I don't think he even played in the preseason, to tell you the truth. I maybe saw him once. And then this year,
I don't remember anything from Ronnie Perkins.
We need to see Ronnie Perkins, goddammit, because he is just a super freaky mauler. I don't know if you watched his tape at Oklahoma when we drafted him.
Oh no, dude. I was thrilled when they took him. Like that, there was a game, I think it was versus Oklahoma State, where he was just pantsing. I want to say he got Tevin Jenkins, who was the second round pick of the Chicago Bears, really good on a couple of reps. I loved it. He would just constantly just, like bully edge rushers. Or not edge rushers, I'm sorry, tackles. But here's the thing. That's college. That was also like 3 years ago. That's 2020. That was the pandemic year. What do you have for us now? You're in year 3 of the NFL. And I would love to see Ronnie Perkins break out. And, while we're on the subject of edge rushers, honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing Keon White tomorrow as well.
He looks like a tank.
He's. I remember people are calling him a tweener. I'm like, no, that's a defensive end right there.
He's big, yeah. He looks like Debo from Friday.
Yeah, he is one big motherfucker, man. I wouldn't be shocked if you see a clip of him just like throwing another tackle into the offensive guard, and then he just goes and crushes the quarterback or running back. Like he's gonna be a machine, and he is someone I was really excited the Patriots drafted this year. Yeah, he's a first round talent that fell to the second round.
And the Patriots would have been perfectly fine taking him at where they took Gonzo. Was it 17?
16 or 17, yeah.
Yeah. So the Patriots would have been perfectly fine taking him. That shows you how high they are on him. And he looks like he's going to be a factor in all the phases of defense right there. Pass rush, run stopping. Like if I know he had a pretty serious ankle injury. His one of his last years there at where'd he go? Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah. So I know he had an injury there and he kind of lost his pop, but apparently it's back. He looks really good. And if we just got like the next Richard Seymour, like in the second round, he has the ability. He looks that strong. He looks that powerful.
I saw another really like exciting comp for him in the pre-drafts, and it was Cam Jordan.
Oh,
which if you get Cam Jordan, that edge rusher, man.
So those are some. So we gave you some solid picks to watch out for on this on this first preseason game. But any other ones that you might be interested in?
You can go with another rookie, Marte Mapu, another guy.
I don't know if he'll play. He was wearing the non-contact jersey.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? Never.
But eventually in this preseason, I mean, I don't want to stop your role, but because Marte Mapu, he's been looking electric.
He looks like he was drawing Kyle Duggar comparisons, and I think he's going to play linebacker though instead of safety. But I think Belichick envisioned him in sort of like a hybrid role where you look at like when Deion Jones got drafted in 2016 by the Falcons, he was a lightweight, ultra athletic linebacker. I think Belichick sees the same for Marte Mapu. I mean, that's kind of the standard around the NFL now. You look at a lot of the linebackers like Fred Warner. That's a freak athlete right there. I remember Miles Jack in Jacksonville, freak athlete. So
is he in Pittsburgh now? Or
He
did he
actually
get
signed
cut?
with Philly.
Oh, didn't he get
yeah.
cut from Pittsburgh and then he went to Philly?
Yeah, he
Something
just
like
signed with
that.
Philly
Yeah.
like the other day. But yeah, I remember seeing guys like that you fly around the football field, and I always was kind of wishing New England got one of those linebackers because I as fun as the old thumper linebackers were back in the day.
The Brandon Spikes,
Your Brandon Spikes, Dante Hightower types. It's just you can't do that in this league anymore. Sadly, if your linebacker can't run like a 4.6, you're toast. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to whenever Marte Mapu gets on the football field. Maybe he's in next week's preview as well. I'll hype him up again. And every week will just be the weekly Marte Mapu highlight spotlight session until he either, actually just becomes elite or he's gone from the team.
So I have a name that you didn't mention that I really thought you would. Offensive side of the ball, running back Pierre Strong.
Oh,
Had
well,
the
he's
one
on my dynasty
touchdown.
team, so
He had the one touchdown against Arizona that was just kind of a gimme. But what do you envision for Pierre Strong here on this team, and what can he show in this preseason game that would make him a force in the regular season?
well, he's got the thing is about Pierre Strong and why I'm really high on him. I'm high enough on him to have him in our dynasty football league with me and Caleb's dynasty football league. He's got game wrecking speed and he's got excellent receiving abilities. And my comparison for him coming out of college was I see him as like a faster James White, which if that's the case, man.
Woo, so you're thinking like Danny Woodhead, like that kind of agility.
I'm thinking like, Dion Lewis if he was faster type, like James, you know what I mean?
Trade the power for speed, yeah.
He ate the golden mushroom from Mario, or like he had like the red mushroom boost. He's just zooming out there.
Better JJ Taylor.
Yeah. I really like him. I will say though, I am intrigued to see the backup running back spot, or I guess the running back 2 spot, because there were reports that Bill Belichick he called Dallas and he wanted to know about Ezekiel Elliott. Lo and behold, the next day Ezekiel Elliott's on a flight to Foxboro,
and he came into the stadium. Went to dinner with Mac.
Yeah, there's reports out there that like, hey, Patriots are really interested in the guy. I'm wondering if they're not impressed by any of the running back play tonight, that they call up Zeke and say, hey, offers out there. He'll provide something of value, which is a thumper role as well, and he's a great pass blocker, which you do need. And we talk about with the tackles, that extra layer of security would be really valuable for this team.
And I think probably the most underrated aspect of maybe bringing in Zeke is he's got buzz. He's a name. The Patriots don't have a lot of names. I think Zeke, as washed up as he might be, I don't think we're ever going to get the 2016 Zeke ever again. But he might have had a down year last year, but his down year is still 800 yards.
He's a good football player. And, was he better than Tony Pollard? Like the Dallas, kind of like overused him a lot when they had a better running back behind him and Tony Pollard. Yeah, but I think if you put him in a balanced role with Ramondre Stevenson, where, Ramondre's Batman, Zeke, you're Robin, you could have something pretty good there. I think that would be a really fun thing to have. And you're right about you got to bring some buzz. You failed to bring in Hopkins, bring in Zeke.
It's not the same buzz as Hopkins, and it sure isn't the same production on the field, but Zeke is fine. Yeah, I'm for bringing him in as long as you're not, paying the crap out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want
to take $10 million for Zeke. No.
And I don't want him taking away snaps from Ramondre Stevenson. Like incorporate him into the offense. That's one. Two, I think Ramondre is probably our best player on offense.
Yeah. He's very reminiscent of like prime Le'Veon Bell. Like
smooth. Oh yeah, absolutely. Smooth, just patient, hit the hole, and he's got speed, and he's an underrated receiver. Ramondre Stevenson is.
That was the one thing I noticed watching his film in Oklahoma. I'm like, this guy is really good at catching the football.
You wouldn't think that looking at him because he looks like just bigger and like
Yeah.
powerful, which he is. But he's also a very good receiver. And obviously, I don't want him like having every single down because you don't want to kill your running back. I want a third down back to step up, whether it be Ty Montgomery, whether it be Pierre Strong, whether it be the ghost of Danny Woodhead, any of them.
Yeah.
But
James White and his busted hip comes out of retirement. Put me in, coach. I'm running like a 4.9 now, but put me in.
But
yeah.
Go ahead.
You need somebody to step up and establish that third down role, and I'm hoping it's Pierre. But I also think Zeke can kind of do it a little bit too. No, you don't want it to, but like, I think if you can bring a good cast of guys in and have a 3 or even 4-headed monster, because I really like Kevin Harris too, you could really cook up something with that.
Yeah, I think it really just is. We need to get some buzz, and we need to build something. This offense is still very raw, very ground level. We are back to the foundation, which is going to happen in any rebuild. But can we get some good pieces together? We got 2 good tight ends, I think, Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki. We have a quarterback I think is capable, and I think he's going to prove it. We'll do a deeper dive on that in a future episode. We'll probably give our expectations for the season that bye week between week 3 and week 1 of between preseason and regular season. But okay, so closing thoughts. Anything?
I'm actually looking forward to seeing them play CJ Stroud tomorrow. CJ Stroud came up in basically like my backyard. I live in the Columbus area, so getting to watch CJ Stroud's college career unfold was pretty cool, and I'm excited to see his debut. Hopefully, the Patriots beat him though.
Yeah. That'd be great.
No friends in the industry, but I will be cheering for him outside of New England.
And I think it'll be interesting to see a Texans team that has like a lot of the same DNA as the Patriots. See how they look. See how other teams are doing it. Yeah. Obviously, we're a little bit better than them. They picked pick 2 for a reason. But I'm very interested to see how.
I'm also excited to see Will Anderson too.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a good test for our tackles.
And obviously our starters aren't playing.
No.
I'm interested to see what kind of depth we have, who we can count on, who pops. But we will see all that tonight. Ryan, thank you for joining me. This has been the first episode of the Foxboro BeatCast. We thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow the page on Facebook and Instagram. And we will see you again next week.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Foxboro BeatCast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.